Have you ever built a form, shared it everywhere, and then waited? Waited for people to respond, waited for submissions to come in, and when they finally did, you looked at the data and thought, okay, now what? Because creating a form isn't the problem anymore. Anyone can spin up a form in 5 minutes. The real challenge in 2026 is this. Are people actually completing your forms? Are you asking the right questions? And once the responses come in, do they lead to anything meaningful? Because if your forms just sit in a spreadsheet or live inside a tool nobody checks, then they are not helping your business move forward. Hi, I'm Kanika from Zonka Feedback, your go-to platform for surveys, customer experience management, and AI-powered feedback intelligence. And in today's video, we are diving into something every business uses, but very few truly get right. The best form builders in 2026. Not just tools to create forms, but platforms that help you collect better data, improve response rates, and actually use the information you gather. In this video, I'll walk you through what form builders really are today, why they matter more than ever, my top form builder recommendations, and how to pick the right one for your business, along with a few practical tips to implement form builders. Whether you are building forms for feedback, leads, onboarding, internal requests, or operation, this video will help you choose smarter. So let's get started. What is a form builder? So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a form builder? At the simplest level, a form builder is a tool that helps you create forms, share them with people, and collect responses. That could be a contact form, a feedback form, a lead capture form, an onboarding form, pretty much anything where you need information from someone. But here's the important part. In 2026, a form builder is no longer just a digital version of a paper form. The best form builders today do a lot more than just collect inputs. They help you design forms that are easy to complete, not overwhelming. They support logic and conditional flows so people only see questions that actually matter to them. They work across devices, mobile, desktop, tablets, without breaking the experience. And they integrate with the rest of your tools, so responses don't live in isolation. A modern form builder also helps you manage what happens after someone submits the form. That could mean routing submission to the right team, triggering notification or follow-ups, saving responses to your CRM or database, or turning feedback into tasks or actions. This is what separates a basic form builder from a real form building platform, because when you think about it, forms sit at the heart of so many business workflows: customer feedback, lead generation, support requests, internal approvals, job application, event registrations, and so much more. So, the role of a form builder today isn't just collect data, it's to help you collect the right data from the right people at the right moment and actually use it. And that's why choosing the right form builder matters way more than it used to. Which brings us to the next question. Why form builders matter in 2026 and why basic forms fall short? Here's the thing, forms have been around forever. But how businesses use forms has completely changed. In 2026, forms aren't just something you throw on a website and forget about. They are part of your customer journey, your sales funnel, your support workflows, and even your internal operations. And that's exactly why basic form tools start to fall apart. Think about it. Today, forms are used everywhere. Someone fills a contact form after seeing an ad. A customer shares feedback right after a purchase. A user submits a support request. A lead downloads a resource. An employee raises an internal request, and all of these moments are time sensitive. If a form builder is just collecting responses and dumping them into a spreadsheet, you are missing the point. Because in 2026, speed, context, and action matter just as much as collection. First, response quality matters more than volume. People don't want to fill long, boring forms anymore. If a form isn't easy, clear, and mobile friendly, they'll abandon it. Modern form builder help you design smarter forms using conditional logic, multi-step layouts, and clean UIs, so people actually complete them. Second, automation is no longer optional. You shouldn't be manually checking form responses or forwarding emails around. A good form builder automatically routes submissions, sends notification, updates your CRM, triggers follow-ups, or assigns tasks without human effort. Third, forms are now tied directly to outcomes. A support form should lead to faster resolution. A feedback form should lead to improvements. A lead form should lead to timely follow-ups. If the form submission doesn't do anything, it's just noise. And finally, teams don't work in isolation anymore. Marketing, sales, support, product, operation, everyone touches form data in some way. So your form builder needs to integrate cleanly with the tools your teams already use instead of becoming yet another silo. This is why form builders matters so much in the current times. Not because forms are new, but because forms have quietly become one of the most important connectors between your business and the people interacting with it. And once you understand that, the next logical question is, which form builder actually do this well today? So let's get into my top form builder recommendations and what each one is best at. Best form builders in 2026. Alright, now that we are clear on what form builders are and why they matter in the current times, let's talk about the tools themselves. Because here's the reality. There is no single best form builder for everyone. Different teams use forms for different jobs, collecting feedback, capturing leads, managing internal requests, onboarding users, or running operations, and each tool on the list is optimized for a slightly different use case. So instead of giving you a one-size-fits-all ranking, I'll break down what each platform actually does best. So you can match the tool to your workflow, not the other way around. Let's start with the first one, Zonka Feedback. If you're looking for a form builder that goes beyond just collecting responses and actually fits into real business workflows, Zonka Feedback stands out immediately. At its core, Zonka Feedback gives you a powerful, flexible survey and form builder. You can create everything from customer feedback forms and NPS surveys to internal requests, onboarding surveys, complaint forms, and location-based feedback without needing any technical setup. The form builder itself is built for scale. You get conditional logic, branching, answer piping, validation, multi-page flows, and fully customizable templates. So your forms adapt based on who's responding, not the other way around. And because it supports multilingual surveys, it works just as well for the global teams as it does for local businesses. Where Zonka really starts to feel different from a typical form builder is distribution. You're not limited to just sharing the link. You can collect responses through email, SMS, WhatsApp, website, pop-ups, in-app forms, QR codes, tablets, kiosks, even offline mode for field team or physical locations. That makes it incredibly useful for businesses that collect data across both digital and real-world touchpoints. Now here's the part that elevates it beyond just forms. Zonka Feedback is designed to help you manage and act on responses, not just store them. You get a response inbox where submissions can be tagged, assigned to owners, followed up on, and closed, which is huge if your forms are tied to customer issues, support requests, or operational workflows. And yes, while we are keeping the focus on form building here, Zonka does layer in AI feedback intelligence to help analyze open text responses, spot patterns, and highlight what needs attention. But the key point is this: the AI supports the workflow, it doesn't replace it. The goal is still helping teams respond faster, fix issues sooner, and close the loop properly. So if your forms are a part of something bigger, customer experience, internal operation, multi-location feedback, or service workflows, Zonka Feedback is a strong choice because it doesn't stop at form submission, it helps you turn those into actionable systems. Second, Typeform. If your biggest priority is getting people to actually finish your forms, Typeform is one of the strongest experience-first platform builders you can use in the current times. Typeform is built around a simple idea. Forms shouldn't feel like forms. Instead of showing everything at once, it uses one question at a time flow that feels more like a conversation than a questionnaire. And that small shift makes a big difference, especially for customer-facing forms. That's why Typeform works really well for things like lead capture, onboarding questionnaires, product validation, customer feedback, and post-purchase or post-interaction surveys. People don't feel overwhelmed, so completion rates are usually high, particularly on mobile. From a building perspective, Typeform is clean and intuitive. You get logic jumps, conditional flows, hidden fields, and personalization, so your forms can adapt based on how someone answers or where they came from. It's especially useful if you want forms to feel tailored instead of generic. Design is another big strength. Typeform looks polished right out of the box with strong typography, spacing, and branding controls. So if brand experience matters to you, marketing teams, founders, product teams, this is where Typeform really shines. On the analytics and follow-up side, things are intentionally lightweight. You get response summaries, basic insights, and integration with tools like Google Sheets, Slack, HubSpot, and CRMs. It's usually enough if your main goal is collecting high-quality responses, not running complex workflows. Typeform has added some AI features to help generate questions and summarize responses, but its real value still lies in how it collects data, not deep analysis after. So if you want a form builder that prioritizes user experience, completion rates, and brand-friendly design, Typeform remains one of the best experience first choices in 2026. Jotform. If you want a form builder that can adapt to almost any business workflow, Jotform is one of the most flexible and operations-friendly tools you can use. Jotform is built for teams that need forms to actually do things, not just collect information. Whether it's internal requests, customer intake, onboarding flows, approvals, registration, or even payments, Jotform gives you the building blocks to create it quickly without any technical setup. The builder itself is very easy to use. It's drag and drop, highly customizable, and backed by a massive template library, so you are rarely starting from scratch. You get conditional logic, calculation, file uploads, e-signature, multi-page forms, and custom branding, which makes it suitable for both simple feedback forms and complex operational workflows. Where Jotform really stands out is in day-to-day business use cases. It's especially strong for HR forms, IT and operation requests, approval flows, compliance checklists, event registrations, and customer intake process. And because it works well across devices, it's also popular for tablet or kiosk-based collection. Distribution is flexible. You can share forms via links, email, QR codes, or embeds, and responses can automatically flow into Google Sheets, CRMs, project tools, or automation platforms using integrations and webhooks. Reporting stays practical rather than fancy. You get response tables, charts, exports, and some basic analytics, enough to manage submission and track trends without enterprise complexity. Jotform has added AI-assisted features for form creation and response handling, but its real strength isn't analytics, it's speed, flexibility, and reliability. So if you need a form builder that works across internal operations and customer-facing workflows, Jotform is a strong, no-nonsense choice in the current times. Fourth, Paperform. If you care deeply about how your forms look and feel and you want them to blend seamlessly into your brand or website, Paperform is one of the most unique form builders you can use. Paperform doesn't treat forms like rigid stacks of fields. Instead, it treats a form more like a web page. You can freely mix text, images, videos, buttons, and form fields, which makes it ideal for storytelling, long-form content, and high-intent user journeys. This is why Paperform works especially well for lead capture with context, product, or service inquiries, pricing and qualification forms, bookings, payments, subscription, and application, or intake forms that need explanation. The builder is flexible and intuitive. You still get essentials like conditional logic, calculations, multi-page flows, file uploads, custom styling, and embedded payments, but everything feels more fluid and design-first than traditional survey tools. Paperform also excels at turning forms into conversion experiences. Instead of asking users to fill out a form cold, you can guide them through a narrative, explaining value, setting expectations, and collecting information gradually. That makes it especially appealing for marketing teams, sales teams, and creator-led businesses. Distribution is straightforward. You can publish forms on a custom domain, embed them on website, or share them via links. Responses can connect to Google Sheets, CRMs, payment tools, and automation platforms, so forms can trigger real workflows. Reporting is clean and simple. You can view responses, export data, and track performance, but this isn't a tool built for deep analytics or seeds programs. Paperform has introduced some AI assistance for faster form creation, but its real strength remains design freedom and control. So, if you want a form builder that feels more like a branded web experience than a traditional form tool, Paperform is an excellent choice. Next, Formstack. If you are looking for a form builder that's less about pretty forms and more about serious business workflows, Formstack is built exactly for that. Formstack is designed for teams that need forms to move data securely, reliably, and at scale, especially in environments where compliance, approvals, and process control really matter. So instead of just collecting responses, Formstack focuses on what happens after someone submits a form. From a building perspective, Formstack is powerful and flexible. You get a drag and drop form creation, conditional logic, calculation, multi-page forms, file uploads, and scoring validation rules. It's well suited for things like internal requests, customer intake, onboarding workflows, applications, approvals, and regulated processes. Where Formstack really stands out is its workflow automation. Forms can automatically trigger approvals, route submission to the right teams, generate documents, and push data into CRM, HR systems, and operational tools. That makes it especially useful for legal, finance, healthcare, education, and enterprise operations teams that need consistency and accountability. Security and compliance are another big reason teams choose Formstack. It offers features like HIPAA compliance, SOC2, GDPR support, data encryption, and access controls, which is critical if you're handling sensitive customer or employee data. On the reporting side, Formstack keeps things clean and functional. You can track submissions, analyze trends, export data, and connect to other business intelligence tools or dashboards through integrations. It's not built for deep customer experience analytics, but that's not its goal. Formstack has also started introducing AI-assisted features to help you streamline form creation and workflows. But the real value here is process reliability, not AI insight. So, if you need a form builder that fits into your enterprise system, supports complex workflows, and meets compliance requirements, Formstack is a strong, dependable choice in 2026, especially for operations-heavy teams. Google Form. Alright, let's talk about the form builder almost everyone has used at least once, Google Forms. And honestly, in 2026, it's still one of the most popular free form builders out there. Not because it's powerful, but because it's incredibly easy to use. Google Forms is built for speed and simplicity. You can create a form in minutes, choose from basic question types, add simple branching logic, and share it instantly via link, email, or embed. There's no learning curve, no setup, and no configuration headaches, which is exactly why so many teams default to it. Where Google Forms really shines is inside the Google ecosystem. Every response flows directly into Google Sheets, which makes it easy to sort, filter, and analyze data quickly. That's why it works so well for internal team surveys, quick customer pulse checks, event feedback, registrations and sign-ups, and early stage research. It's especially useful when you just need answers fast and don't want to spend time setting up a full survey platform. But here's the trade-off. Google Forms is very limited when it comes to branding automation, workflows, and advanced logic. You don't get built-in follow-ups, response management, rule-based access, or deeper analytics. And while it has started adding small AI touches inside Workspace, it's not designed to help you analyze feedback or close the feedback loop. So if your goal is quick, no-cost feedback collection, Google Forms is a solid choice and one of the best free form builders available. But once your forms become business critical or you need insights, automation, or scale, you'll likely outgrow it and move to a more powerful platform. How to choose the right form builder for your business. Now, before you rush off and pick a tool just because it looks good and shows up first on Google, let's slow down for a second, because choosing the wrong form builder can quietly create a lot of friction later. Not all form builders are built for the same job, so instead of asking which tool is the best, the better question would be, what do I actually need this form builder to do for my business? Here's how I think about it. First, start with what you are collecting and why. Are you collecting simple leads, running customer feedback surveys, managing internal requests or approvals, or collecting structured data that needs follow-ups? If your goal is high-quality feedback, surveys, or customer insights, you'll want a tool that supports logic, segmentation, and response management, not just basic fields. If your goal is operations or internal workflows, flexibility and integrations matter more than design. Second, think about where your forms will live. This is where many teams choose wrong. Ask yourself, will people fill this on a website, inside a product, via email or SMS, on a tablet at a physical location, or offline? Some form builders are great for web embeds, some are optimized for mobile, some support offline or kiosk use, and some are designed purely for digital-first experiences. The right tool should fit naturally into your customer or employee journey, not force you to redesign the journey around the tool. Third, don't ignore logic and personalization. In 2026, no one wants to answer irrelevant questions. Look for features like conditional logic, branching, hidden fields, and personalization, so forms adapt based on responses, source, or user type. This single factor can dramatically improve completion rates and data quality. Fourth, ask yourself what happens after someone submits the form. This is the biggest difference between a basic form builder and a serious business tool. Do responses just sit there? Or can you assign them to someone, trigger alerts, follow ups, track status, or connect them to your CRM, help desk, or internal tools? If forms are tied to decisions or action, this part really matters. Fifth, think about scale and collaboration. Today, it might be one form. Tomorrow, it's multiple teams, multiple forms, and multiple workflows. So check, can multiple people collaborate? Are there roles and permission? Can you organize forms, responses, and reports cleanly? Does it grow with your business or will you outgrow it in 6 months? And finally, yes, consider AI, but realistically. AI is helpful when it speeds up form creation, summarizes responses, highlights patterns, or reduces manual work. But it shouldn't be the only reason you choose a tool. Good structure, distribution, and workflows still matter more. So the right form builder isn't the most popular one. It's the one that fits your use case, your channel, and your need to do after the form is submitted. Once you get that right, even simple forms start creating value. Practical tips to get the most out of your form builder. Before we wrap, let's talk about something that matters just as much as the tool itself, how you actually use it. Because here's the truth. Even the best form builder won't work if the way you design or deploy forms is weak. So here are a few practical real-world tips that will help you get better completion rates, cleaner data, and more value from any form builder that you choose. First, look out for simplicity. If your form feels long or confusing, people will drop off every time. Instead of asking everything you might need, focus on what you need right now. Shorter forms get completed more often, and you can always follow up later. A good rule of thumb? I'd say if a question doesn't directly lead to a decision or action, cut it. Second, use logic to reduce friction. This is one of the most underrated features in form builders. Conditional logic lets you hide irrelevant questions, adapt flows based on answers, and personalize forms without making them longer. When people only see questions that actually apply to them, forms feel faster and more respectful, and response quality improves instantly. Third, place forms at moments that make sense. Timing matters more than most teams realize. Don't just throw forms on a page and hope for the best. Trigger them when users are already engaged, after a purchase, after onboarding, after support resolution, or right when intent is high. The better the timing, the more honest and useful the responses. Fourth, think beyond collection. Plan the next step. Before you publish a form, ask, who sees this response? What happens if it's negative? Does someone need to follow up? Should this trigger an alert or task? When forms are connected to workflows, even simple ones, they stop being passive data collectors and start driving action. Fifth, review and refine regularly. Forms aren't set and forget. Check where people drop off, which questions get skipped, what answers repeat, and whether the data is actually helping decisions. Small tweaks like rewording a question or changing order can massively improve results over time. And finally, optimize for response quality, not just response count. Getting 500 responses sounds great until you realize most of them say good, fine, or no comments. Small tweaks make a huge difference here. Set expectations upfront so people know why you are asking. Use specific, focused questions instead of vague ones. And don't be afraid to guide responses with examples or context. Better inputs lead to clearer insights, faster decision, and less time guessing what people actually meant. Because in the end, one clear response is more valuable than 10 vague ones. And that's a wrap. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it is this. Form builders in 2026 aren't just about collecting information. They are about creating better experiences, cleaner workflows, and clearer next steps. The right tool makes it easier to get responses, easier to manage them, and easier to actually do something useful with the data you collect. So think about your use case. Match the tool to the job and don't overcomplicate what doesn't need to be complicated. If this video helped, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which form builder you are currently using and what you wish it did better. And if you're looking for a form and survey platform that goes beyond collection and helps you close the feedback loop with AI-powered insights and workflows, check out Zonka Feedback using the link given in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.